Alright, welcome back guys. Today we're going to be talking about something that I've been working on for quite a few months now. I wasn't exactly sure what to do with this video, so I'm just going to make it and I'll figure out what to call the thing later on. If y'all have any better ideas for titles for this video, put it down in the comments below. And if I see one that looks really good or better than what I name it, then I'll change it to that name. So comment down below what you think the video should be called if you don't like the one I came up with. But today we're going to be talking about this kind of setup right here and the purpose of this setup. And as you can tell by the end of this, this is an airsoft gun. So what I wanted to do was figure out a way where I could shoot with my NVGs, because I don't have a range where I can go shoot at night. At least not easily. There's some places that I could use if I wanted to, or wanted to sign up and go to some training classes or volunteer for some training classes. And I could use them there, but it's such a pain in the butt to go do that. I have to drive a long ways off, and then they usually do training, you know, obviously at night. So it's well past midnight before we're done, and I get home and I work at, 7:30 in the morning. So that doesn't really work out well. Plus, a lot of people sign up for it. If you've ever heard of Darcy, the Direct Action Resource Center, that's one of the places that I go every now and then to play as Op 4 for all the guys who are doing training. And usually you get lit up because all of them have night vision and you don't. So it's pretty unfair advantage. So that's one place, something like that. So if you're looking for somewhere where you could go get some training for free, look around and see if any training facilities actually have like Op 4 where they take volunteers to go do stuff like that. So that's something that's kind of cool. You might be able to find around you. So you could use something like this for that, because they do allow airsoft guns up to a certain feet per second. I don't remember what all that was. I haven't actually used this at Darcy, so I've just taken my ARs and swapped in a Sims bolt, and that works fine for me. But this would be something that you could do for that. But this is going to be for, your average person's not going to have access to a place like that. 99.9% of you aren't going to have access even to a range where you can shoot at night, or even an indoor range where you're the only one there, where maybe you can turn off the lights or something like that. So this is a way to get some, I wouldn't say practical training necessarily, but it gives you a way to train with your NVGs to be able to move around and to do some things that are somewhat realistic, and just to get some time on your night vision. Because I'm sure a lot of you, if you do not own night vision and you don't have some land somewhere, out in the desert or wherever where you can go shoot, you may not have a way to actually train with that other than just walking around. And that's one other thing you can do as well. Just go walk around the woods at night. Put your helmet in your your PVS-14 or whatever night vision goggle you have, and just put it on. Go walk around your backyard, walk around your property, the bike trail, the woods, whatever, and just kind of get used to it. You'd be surprised on how much just playing around with it will improve your ability to use it. Don't just think you're going to strap it on and own the night. You need some practice with it. So that's what this does. It gives you a little bit of muscle memory, a little bit of practice to be able to use this kind of stuff without actually having to shoot live ammo if you don't have access to that kind of range. I set it up with airsoft accessories, for lack of better words, equipment, whatever you want to call it. The flashlight, which I've done a review on this flashlight, this is the Surefire Vampire knockoff. It has the white light, the off setting, and then the IR setting. Watch my review if you're interested. For the money, I think this is actually better than Surefire. Again, for the money, for how much it costs. The Surefire is obviously a better light, but price-wise, comparison-wise, I think this is a better value for how much you spend. I don't think the Surefire's, $300 larger price tag makes it $300 better than this. I'd say this is about 80% as good as the Surefire. Again, you can fight me in the comments. I don't care. But I set this up as close as I possibly could to my real rifle. Now, obviously, I'm limited because I had to buy an airsoft gun, and this airsoft gun is made by Lancer Tactical. Let's see. Yeah. So that's the company right there. I'll put links to all this stuff down below. But this one is set up as close to my actual rifle as I could possibly find. Obviously, there's some differences here and there, but overall, it's very similar. The only difference, or main difference, is one, the magazine well is kind of angled, which is weird, but I assume these are finger grooves and they meant for you to hold the rifle like that with your other hand. The grip's slightly different and you can't change it. That's not a big deal. This actually has a forward assist, which mine doesn't. Not a big deal. And the stock, obviously, you can't swap out for other stocks. So let's kind of start from the rear to the front of the gun, just so you can kind of see what exactly is on here. I already went over the light. But up here, this is not a real Eotech, despite the fact that it has Eotech written all over it. This is actually a knockoff Eotech, or a copy, whatever you want to call it. For the money, it's actually a very good copy. Now, one thing I will say is, if you look down there, you can see the glass is not super clear. It's plasticky, so you get a little bit of double reflection from the reticle. Maybe you'll pick that up on here. Let me turn this down so you can see it. So, as you can tell, the reticle's green, which a real Eotech, well, some of them I guess would have a green reticles, but the night vision button on here, as you can see, all it does is change it from red to green. But you can see how it's kind of not super clear. That night vision just changes it from red to green. So the red is better during the nighttime. The green makes it bright enough where you can use it during the day. So it is daylight bright. Other than that, the buttons feel, cheaper than an Eotech. It's an Eotech clone. But I think, if I remember right, this thing was around $40 to $50 somewhere in there. And the reason I wanted something like this was it mimics the Eotech I actually have on my rifle. So I have the real version of this. It's the EXPS 2-0, I believe, is the real Eotech. This model, I think they call it the 558. I want to say this one was actually sent to me by AkFire. I'll put a link down below. If you're interested in buying from them. They sell on Amazon, and I want to say they also sell on eBay as well. But for the price, I just wanted something that would take up the space. So I would kind of, develop muscle memory. Everything's kind of in the same place. It does work, obviously, as a sight for an airsoft gun. I don't think it would hold 0 on a real gun. There's no click detents for the adjustments. So it is what it is. But it's held 0 just fine on this airsoft gun for what it's worth. And an airsoft gun's not accurate enough for you to need something like this to be super accurate anyway. So, it is what it is. But for, the price, I was actually very impressed with how well this thing is made. So moving on down, I talked about the light already. This is a knockoff of the Unity tap switch. So this one, it has 2 separate buttons right here. And as you can see, so let me just turn on this little PEQ15 so you can see, or the PEQ15 knockoff. Let's see. All right. So you can see the laser down there. So the front button controls the PEQ, and the rear button controls the light. Now you can see you can click quickly. Sometimes it's hard to do, but it'll stay on if you let go. Or you can use it as momentary, so that's kind of cool. The light, obviously, with this setup is momentary only. But if you had one where it would stay on, I'm pretty sure the function would be the exact same. Now on this PEQ15, which I'll talk about, well, let me talk about this real quick. So this was like 25 bucks. Again, it's pretty inexpensive for what it is, and I'm actually surprised on how well made it is. It's a very good copy of the Unity. Now, the only difference, and the reason I had to buy this, was because these Airsoft PEQ15 knockoffs, which are around, $40 to $50, they use this little plug that looks kind of like a headphone jack plug. So let me see if I can pull that out. Yeah. So you can see it looks like kind of like a headphone jack plug. So you can't actually use a real Unity taps or anything like that on here. Which you may not want to anyways for, a training gun or an airsoft gun. But that's why I had to buy this one specifically. So this tape switch, unfortunately, will not work with real PEQ15s or with like Hollow Suns or anything that uses that crane plug, which I was hoping I could find one that did that. But this one doesn't. So this one will only work with basically airsoft knockoffs. Now for the PEQ15. So it has a button up here, in case you're wondering. Okay, there you can see the laser. So it's on and off, or you can use it as a momentary. Actually, I lied. So it's just constant on and off. It also has a light up here. This is a white light. So as you can see up here, there's a light right here, and then these are just little caps. The caps honestly don't do anything. I would just cut them off if you didn't worry about, or if you weren't worried about protecting this. But it says it has an IR laser and a visible laser. So the visible, I believe, is this one. This is the IR. So it's not actually an IR laser. It's just a very, very dim visible laser. So I don't know. Let me turn it over to the IR and see if you can see it on there. Yeah, you can see that on the camera. So click it. You can see it right there. So I can't see that with the naked eye from here. Actually, yes, I can. I can just barely see that with the naked eye. So is that a big deal? No, not really. It works just fine under NVGs. It's not too bright. So under night vision, it looks just like an IR laser, but just know it's a very dim visible laser. So that was kind of smart how they did this. And again, I think this was around $50. So now it came with 2 screws, which I screwed in over here, but they were in here and here. And honestly, you might as well leave those in. It doesn't actually do the high power modes whenever you turn it to here to here. All it does is put it in a mode that's like kind of unusable. So your visible light, if I turn it to here, so there's your visible light on your PEQ15, which this is about, I want to say 300-ish lumens. And for what it is, it's actually really bright. I was surprised. But I would not use the white light on this because I have the white light here. I wish they incorporated an IR light here. I think that would be cool. Even if it was another 25, 30 bucks, I think that would be kind of cool. Now this thing, again, I don't think it'll hold zero. The adjustments are here and here. They're not clickable, so it holds fairly well. Again, it hasn't moved since I put it on there, since I adjusted it. And for an airsoft gun, it's accurate enough. Now the settings on here, you have off. This is white light and laser. You can see back here was white light only. Then the next setting is, I believe, just laser. Correct. Then the next one is just IR laser, which, yeah, you can see it right there. So IR laser. And then whenever you go past here, which is why they put the screws there, not because it's some legal thing, it's because it doesn't make sense. You have a visible light and an IR laser. And then the same thing over here. So your IR laser or your very dim visible laser wouldn't make sense to have with a white light. Like, that doesn't make sense. So I would just leave the screws in. Now again, I don't know what you will be interested in all of this thing, so if you have questions down below, let me know. The sights on this are flip-ups, and I mean, for what they are, they're decent. I wouldn't put them on a real gun. They're not that great. And honestly, I wouldn't use them on this because this rifle is not accurate enough for iron sights to really matter unless you're up close. So this airsoft gun is accurate enough to hit a person. I would say out to 50 yards, you're going to hit somebody probably 50% of the time. So it's fairly accurate for what it is. Inside of 40 yards, say, 30, 35 yards, you're going to hit a person just about every shot. I'll insert some video footage here, me shooting at a concrete block that's right at the base of my shed. So you can see I can hit that shed or that block from about 25 to 30 yards every single time. So, and that's a 6-inch by foot block. So it's accurate enough for what I need to. And also, this thing's just fun. So if you're looking for something fun to mess with, this would be a good option. I'm going to aim at the cinder block. I don't know if you can see it. It's just right down there at the base of the shed. So I hit it with all those shots. So this is about 25 yards. Here's full auto, just so you get an idea. Don't know if you saw any of those. I'll shoot just the middle of the side of the shed so you can see it. So if you have kids, convince the wife, hey, it's for the kids, not for me. But then obviously you can use it for this. But all of this together, I want to say the gun itself is like $200, I think. So I think all in all of this costs around $400 total, which, I mean, you might look at it, oh, that's a new gun. Yes, it is a new gun, but it's also training. So if you look at this is a way for you to train. Now you can go to a night vision class, spend $800 and, go and do that and go spend in a hotel and end up spending around $1,000 total, or you could spend $400, go walk around your backyard, out in the woods, or if you live in the country, whatever, you can do stuff like this. So this is just a way for you to get some sort of practice in. Again, this is not perfect. This does not replicate real life, but it's a way to do, or just to get some training. So one thing I will talk about is these batteries that it came with. I'm not going to say they're absolute trash, but go ahead and buy yourself some aftermarket ones. I'll put a link to the ones that I bought that work a lot better. These batteries on one full charge will only last about one entire magazine full of, and again, this is an airsoft gun YouTube, so don't demonetize me, which you probably already have anyways. But it'll last through one of these. And how this works is you dump in a whole bunch of pellets down in there. You can see them down in there. And then you wind it to give it tension. And you wind it like, I don't know, 10, 15 times, something like that. Then you fire all that's in there. And then once you notice it's not firing anymore, wind it some more. And it'll load all these. So this battery pack will last through the entirety of all this, which is probably, I don't know, maybe around 200 rounds, something like that, which is, fairly good. But changing the battery on this is kind of obnoxious. Versus the battery pack I bought that's in there right now will last through about 3 magazines before you have to change it out. So that's one criticism I have of this, is you're going to have to buy an aftermarket battery pack if you want to do any real amount of shooting. All the things on here, again, I don't know what you're going to be interested in. Forward assist does nothing. Charging handle pops this open to where you can access, I guess, the hopper or whatever it is in there. It's just for aesthetics. I'm sure there's some value in there for cleaning or something. But the buttstock on here is very similar to the, I think this BCM's what, the OpMod stock. I don't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. The one where you can put Skittles, down in here. Well, Skittles don't fit in this one. The battery pack does. So let me take off this real quick so you can just see what that looks like. All right, so I pop this off. All you do is squeeze these 2 little tabs, which you can see right here. Right here, you squeeze them inwards, and that allows them to pop out of here. Then you pull this out, and then there's your battery pack in there. So hopefully you can see down in there, and you just pull this out. You just pull this out, plug it in, plug in your old one, slide them in there. So one criticism again I would have to this is just this little tabs right here. These seem very fragile and kind of a cheaper plastic, so I'm afraid over time taking this on and off all the time is just going to cause these to snap. And if they do that, you're going to have to hold it in there with duct tape or something. So kind of a criticism. This gun is, again, this isn't really a review of this, but if you're interested, again, there's the model and name of everything. The safety does actually work, so it's empty right now, but you have fire, which is, you know, semi-auto, and then you have full auto over here. Let me tell you, full auto is fun, but you go through a lot of pellets pretty quick. One thing that's obnoxious is this right here. It's a sling mount, and it's ambidextrous, and luckily, unlike a mag pull grip or something that forces your hand to go up higher, which would make this constantly hit your hand, they have kind of almost like a original A1 type grip, except it's a little bit humpier in the back. But that makes it to where your wrist doesn't come in contact with this. So I would prefer them to get rid of this thing, but you know, it does have Picatinny rails all the way around. So it has pick rail on top and has 3 little sections of pick rail right there, so if you're curious. It also comes with this little cap on the end where it just kind of pops on the end. I have no idea why you would want this on there. It looks stupid to me, but you know, it comes with it. So again, one other thing too, and again, this was the only thing on here that was sent to me. Everything else I bought myself, so you can call me a shill, it doesn't matter. Was this Eotech knockoff, and I think it's kind of funny it comes with a Eotech brand name right there, but it just comes with a little cheesy box. If you're interested, they also make these little scope caps to cover your Eotech if you're interested. So there's that. Now here is the brand of the PEQ15. If you're interested, it's just the Watson. Again, you don't have to buy one of these. Comes with a decent little case. For $50, it's a good choice. I would get the green laser model if I were to do it again, because the green is going to be more visible during the day. The red one is visible if you're in the shade, but if you're in direct sunlight, you're not going to see it. So that's kind of obnoxious, but the green version I think is like another $20. So, and again, I bought this specifically for night shooting. I didn't buy it to shoot during the daytime. I just happen to enjoy going out and shooting it during the daytime because it's fun. Obviously in here is the Surefire Vampire knockoff, which I got on eBay. I also bought on eBay I think it's the M640, the dual fuel version. It's a Surefire knockoff, but it's supposed to be 1200 lumens, and it's essentially, I'm assuming, made by the same company that makes this. And it's supposed to be like 12 or 1400 lumens. So that's on the way. It's going to be here in like a month. It's got to ship here from China. So, and again, this was just something fun that I thought I would do, and just to give me a way to get used to shooting under night vision whenever I don't have access to, say, shooting with simunitions or going to a class or something like that. So if y'all appreciate this kind of video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions on something to do with this overall or some other ideas you want me to test out, just let me know as well. Follow us on the Instagram page. We do have that. I don't know what goes on over there. Rhett does that, so I'm oblivious. I'm an old man. I don't know how to use that kind of stuff. But comment down below if that helps with the YouTube algorithm, because they don't like this kind of content. So if you comment down below, it really helps. The liking really helps. Subscribing to the channel really helps. The more subscribers that we get, the happier I am. And at some point, I'll do some sort of giveaway or something. If y'all have some sort of ideas of what you'd like, you know, some of this kind of stuff, I don't know, that I have laying around that I don't use anymore, let me know. I'll try to make that happen once we get to a certain number of subscribers. Don't know what that is, maybe 3,000, something around there, because I think we just passed 2,000. But anyways, hopefully you all enjoyed this. Have a good one.